Commissioners meeting to order for May 23rd at 9 a.m. right on the dot. I'm sure, Mary, you have the roll call done? Shall we do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I see, now you have roll call. Done it. You're always ahead of us. We discussed it. Before we get too much into the agenda, we're in the middle of doing director evaluations. We have our secret box over there on the table. If anybody brought their evaluations in, we're trying to make this as anonymous as possible so that everybody feels comfortable, and that includes the staff also. So, and the only people that will be looking at these evaluations will be the committee. So they won't be opened or anything until the committee gets them. All right, we'll move right on down to changes to the agenda. Do you have anything, Craig? I did not have anything. Nope, okay.
Do we want to address the budget?
That'll be after this meeting at 11. Okay.
So at 11 o'clock.
Yes, we have one more meeting after this today.
All right.
Do we need a motion to accept the agenda as written?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right, just making sure everything's cool.
Yeah.
Move on to public comment. I don't see anybody here from the public. Anybody on?
No, there is nobody on.
Nobody?
Just our folks.
All right. Approval of board minute meetings from our last meeting.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion, Rebecca made the motion to approve the minutes and Tracy has seconded them. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so reports from the chair and commissioners, and I will start this week or this month since I let the commissioners start last month, and I think the only thing I have to report is some of us rode the first loop around on the Warrenton bus on May 1st, and it was a lot of fun. I found places in Warrenton I didn't know existed, and I've lived in Warrenton for the last 15 years or so. But it was a lot of fun, and I would encourage all of the board members to try and get out there and ride all of the routes, but the Warrenton one was really good. So, Tracy, would you like to be next?
Yes, and I accompanied you, several of us that all visited the first, and that route carries a lot of miles. Long loops in there. I'm thinking that it is a route that Warrenton definitely wanted back. And, so
New and improved.
new and improved, yes. And I look forward to I like the addition of the municipal, so that whole side of the area. So it's fine.
Thank you, Tracy. Rebecca?
Yes, I'm continuing to serve on the policy committee, and we are, rounding the bend. We're about finished with our work, and we have another presentation coming up after our meeting on the 30th. And I too was really pleased about the number 15. It was so much fun to be on that bus. It was, and the amount of area that it covered, and also, from residential areas to commercial areas, it really ran the gamut, and I was very impressed with the design of that route. And I was just telling Sue that as I came in this morning, leaving my neighborhood in Seaside on Mechanical Drive, the Cannon Beach bus drove by and I waved, but I'm still not familiar with, who all is driving, who are the drivers on those buses. So I want to familiarize myself a little bit more with, as we're bringing more people on and enhancing the routes. So it's just so nice to really get to know the people that operate this district. So I'm very pleased with the progress we've made and happy to be a part of it.
I'm also on the Board Policy Committee. I started out to take the bus 15 and ended up on 101, forgetting that there is a lapse of service. So I had a great ride on 101 and warmed up after 45 minutes. And so I don't have good eyesight, thought it was the 15. So the bus driver was very accommodating.
All right. Paul?
My apologies to staff for my not being on that ride. I failed to check my email early enough, but I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, Paul. Charles?
I also was not on that ride, but I had to go to Dallas on a sad occasion for us, and the death of my mother. And so I wasn't here for that. I hate I wasn't, but look what you guys had fun though. And it's, never be ready for you when your mother passes. The thing I hear mostly is, what's she gonna do, like a long life? Well, still your mother, right? It doesn't sounds artificial to hear that, but I'm back. I did not participate in much of the budget meetings, and I apologize for that. But it looks like you guys did great work, and it went well. It appears to have gone well. And I will say this: while I was gone, having to leave my car parked in Portland, my wife had to use the bus to get to Seaside a couple of times, and she had never run for the bus. I was so impressed. So she told me to pass that on to you guys, that she was so impressed with the bus. And she said, I'll do that more. You should. But other than that, I have nothing to say, but thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Charles. Okay. Moving on to number 8, our financial reports. Kelly?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as you guys know, I've been deep in budget, so glad that our first meeting is done and went well. Looking forward to our meeting today to finish up and get that approved. You'll see on your dashboard that we submitted our grant reimbursements, so we're just waiting. They were just submitted not that long ago, so we're just waiting for those funds to come in for those. Lined out like our other income for you there. We're a little bit over on building and maintenance. We needed to get a flammable cabinet for the shop for things to be able to be stored in to be safe. So we were able to purchase that.
Probably one, not flammable.
It contains items that
No, I mean you want it not flammable.
not flammable. I named it a flammable cabinet.
Flammable cabinets.
Well, it doesn't get flamed. It
It's a-
doesn't.
We know
it's a
what you
chimney.
get.
Yeah.
Eating up on it.
It's not flammable. Nothing major to report. Things are going really well. Cash flow wise, things are going well. So just, we've got, about 5 weeks left in this fiscal year to finish out. So looking good there. We're over budget on a couple of things, fuel being one of them. And I'm not overly surprised by that. fuel prices and, like I talked about in our budget meeting, our buses don't get stellar mileage, which is part of the reason why that was adjusted going forward. Any questions for me?
So I just make sure that I'm on board. So we do have about 5 weeks left. And our income is showing that we're at 100.18% of what we anticipated receiving. So we may get a little bit more than that before the end of the year. And our expenses are way under by 75.44%. So all in all, I think we're looking really well.
We are looking
kept
really
our
well.
expenses down and through all of this. So barring any emergency between now and June, we should have some little extra money left. So that was the only comment I had. Charles?
Do you attribute keeping expenses down as just smarter buying, or just think we didn't buy that particular month? Do you just, are we buying better?
I think we're buying better. I think we're being more careful in, what we need, what we're doing. Our mechanic, vehicle maintenance and repairs is usually a big item. Our mechanic is great about keeping everything as in-house as possible, which, that saves a lot of money not outsourcing that. And just little things, little things like office supplies, right? Like, we're not ordering anything that is not necessary.
Are you ordering through the state's discount now?
No,
I still think we should look into that.
I've looked into the state's
Not that
discount and it's really not fabulous. There might be some minor perks in there, but we can order things from Amazon, which is huge, comes super fast. You have a large variety of places to, things to choose from there. And then we also order from Office Depot, we get, a discount through them. Those are our two main suppliers that we use.
Because through my previous work, we ordered through Office Depot, but we got the county discount and they were huge. But I forget,
Pricing,
yeah. But I forget about Amazon, and I'm sure, because I don't use Amazon. So
You're the one.
I don't.
How do you live in life without Amazon?
If I really want something, I have my husband order, but
I try not to, but. Well,
Okay, we're back.
yeah, I just wanted to, say, we are considered, we qualify as a district, as government rate, right? Yeah, obviously. I was glad to see that, the roof is needing it, we don't need a new roof, so there's a deferment there, is that correct?
Yes,
This roof does not need to be replaced, no.
No.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but we don't have to worry about the HVAC coming down through our top.
Yeah, which is helpful.
So, you're mindful of the timing of certain, expenditures.
Yes.
I'm glad to see that, thanks.
Charles?
A roof can be an expensive repair. When they were up there, could they give you any idea of how long, is it good for another month and they're back out? Putting a roof in, they kind of say, well, it's good to us. And they give you any indication, that's gonna be expensive.
Oh, it's 90,000.
Yes.
They gave us 3 different options. We thought we'd try the cleaning and, sealing any possible thing. So far, it's been pretty good. But we'll just have to see.
About planning for it.
The ones over at the ops are much worse. They're significantly worse. They'll have to be dealt with the next fiscal year for sure.
Anybody else on the questions on finances? Okay, Mary, would you enter our financial reports into the minutes, please? Continued business, number 9A, STIP update. Mr. Johnston.
Yes, well, we've amended our STIP plan and we submitted it to ODOT.
ODOT has approved the amended STIP plan and is forwarding it now to PTAC for review and approval. And then if PTAC approves it, it'll go to the OPC. And as a reminder, this basically increases our maximum cap of money that we can receive in the 23 to 25 biennium. So everything's looking good there.
So you set the cap or ODOT sets the cap?
ODOT sets the cap, but their projection shows that we're gonna have more money coming in terms of the state transit tax. So they said, look, you're an organization that could probably benefit from increasing the cap to receive those additional funds during the 23-25 biennium.
Thank you. I'm working on turning this off.
Okay. Anything else on that then?
So it was,
Thank you. New business letter of support. From ODOT, 10A. So,
Okay, yeah, that is the county. The county reached out to me. Jay Blake, who's the county planning manager, reached out to me a couple weeks ago. The county is looking to re-up their transportation plan because the last time they had it redone was in 2014. He's new to his position. We met together and we both agreed it would be beneficial to the county and the district if we were to work closely in formulating the county transportation plan. However, at this point, they need about a $300,000 grant from ODOT in order to do this plan. So he was looking for a letter of support moving forward, which I've included in this packet for you guys to review. I think it's good for the organization. It gives us more involved with other government entities. So it's a good thing for the district.
I was really surprised that we weren't a part of the previous planning.
We both marveled at that. In fact,
That's a good word.
interesting word. In fact, there's only one sentence in the 2014 plan dealing with Sunset Empire. So
And this was a transportation plan.
this was a transportation
Oh, my
plan. So,
Really?
yeah,
One sentence.
one sentence.
so,
That's interesting.
do the other cities have, because there's transportation boards in each one of the other cities, or at least Seaside and Cannon Beach, am I correct on that?
Yes.
I
Are
serve
we
on the
in-
seaside.
Okay, are we involved in those at all? If we aren't, should we be?
We should be, yeah, in
So,
all those.
yeah, so maybe
Yeah,
you need to reach out to
Sure.
them and,
yeah, no, that's a
Would you
good
like to
idea.
come to our meeting?
Yeah, if you some of
We
the,
always would like input.
yeah, excellent.
There.
Yeah. And
How
you're
often
from
do they
Seaside?
meet?
We meet, well, that's a good question because we've recently not been regular. We are a once a month meeting on the schedule. But it is subject to, the public works director is the staff person and he sets the agenda. And sometimes he doesn't have
Anything.
items for us to review. But yeah, we'd love to.
That'd be great.
I think it would be really good for us to get involved with all of those.
Yeah, anything,
Charles?
anything transportation related is
Yes.
gonna be beneficial to the district.
Charles?
You guys know Cannon Beach is always this parking issue. And so the city is trying to come up with ideas, and one of those was build up away from downtown parking. Garage or lot or whatever. And they're toying with a shuttle that could go. There used to be a shuttle there in the summer, it was us, and you go to Seaside too, like, and come back. I don't think we'll be able to do that, but if they were talking about buying a shuttle, and I guess my question would be, can they run a shuttle on their own? I mean, they can do that on their own, or?
And we won't stop them, if they wanna do it on their own.
Right, they were talking about inner shuttle hiring drivers and such. And so I was thinking, well, that seems like
something maybe we should talk about.
Do
I did mention this to the previous director, but I don't know the plan.
you know we used to get money from Seaside to run a shuttle down there?
Yes.
Is that a possibility?
We've been getting.
From Cannon Beach, is that a
Okay,
possibility
yeah.
of doing that again?
It is a possibility.
Be great.
I know we have one more driver that hasn't been rehired and he's really wanting to get back
Yeah,
on.
I can talk to, I'll meet with the team, we'll discuss it.
Okay. Pam?
I don't think the city of Warrenton has a board of transportation, probably to contact the planning director.
I've never heard of anything down in
Yeah.
Warrenton, but Seaside and Cannon Beach, I've heard that they do, so.
And they are getting the population growth of all the cities.
I think that Cannon Beach was approached about paying for our services again. I think they declined in this last year.
They did.
Yeah.
So they
When we
will
were-
they will pay for it themselves, I guess.
Well, they just declined paying us like they had before.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, I just remember that.
But they're still talking about doing it themselves.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
You know, it's, they're nowhere near getting an off-site parking place. No one wants to park in the garage. They certainly don't want it west of 101. And there's not a lot of area east of 101, but it's still around, floating around here, talking about it all the time. So maybe, see, what do you guys do about this parking? Because that's the issue. I live there, but you guys go down there enough. It's just, parking's an issue.
Oh, yeah.
It's a total issue.
All right, so we're all in agreement that, yes, it'd be good for us to do the letter of support. Do we need a motion for that, Mary, or can we just?
Probably.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to send a letter of support to ODOT for the, Clatsop County, transportation plan, that we would be involved with that.
I so moved.
Tracy has moved,
Second.
Paul second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes. New business, B, 10B, SETD fair policy amendment to include military rights for free. And I think we do provide military rights now, but they have to be in uniform. So we want to correct that a little bit?
Yes, this is, we've had free fares for veterans, but we have the stipulation that they have to wear a uniform in order to ride the bus. And I think that's unique. I've never heard of that anywhere else. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to continue that policy, but make it a little more convenient for the veterans. By showing a veteran form of ID so that they can ride the bus to make it a little easier for them. We don't want to make an elderly gentleman who's served in the Vietnam War, who's 65 now, have to put on his uniform in order to ride the bus. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
I'm just thinking.
If they were in country for a long time, I don't know that there would be much uniform to put on.
All right. So this is a good commitment for the district that we appreciate veterans, both active duty, retired. But it'd be a good statement for the district saying we appreciate you. We'd like to make an additional announcement for Memorial Day coming up and move forward from there.
I love this idea, and I know somebody near and dear to my heart that would just get on the bus because he already has his card, his ID card. But I think that, it's kind of short notice for the Memorial Day weekend, but, any way that we can broadcast that now and later, continuing so that people get the message, that would be great.
Definitely.
Yeah, it appeared from what I read in the packet that they're gonna be able to show their DD 214 or anything like that. Have we considered perhaps making veteran bus passes?
No,
That we could issue once a veteran is established as a veteran, he's a veteran forever.
yeah, yeah.
So if we could come up with, I would think if we wanted to look at coming up with a nice card, plasticized, that we could issue, and we have a little process that they, prove they're a veteran, and then we
Make it easier for the drivers too.
yeah, and then they don't have to carry a photocopy of the DD, I guess the DD 214 comes on a little card now too.
Yeah.
But if they had a SETD veteran bus pass, I think that would be.
It's simple.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Well, now I'd have to decide which one to wear, whether I wore my commissioner one or the veteran.
Yeah, double dipper.
Just
You
a
get a refund every time you rode the bus. And I like that idea a lot.
I like it, Paul, yeah.
It would make it, and it would make it a lot easier for the drivers to say, oh yeah, you're one of
I
us.
think so. And I think you could take some time designing it and make it a very special thing the veteran would be happy to have.
Yeah.
I think we have somebody on staff that likes to design things.
Well, we're doing it, and we'll do a group effort, but.
Mary's like, yay.
And then, one additional thing, when we had the financial collapse last year, one of the programs that was sort of ceremoniously funding-wise taken away was the veterans program. So this is a good kickstart to get that program going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So we've already had one veterans program meeting. Tracy was there, Guillermo was there. So this is a step in the right direction.
It's great because right now the approach by age, the oldest living veterans are Vietnam War veterans, World War II veterans, not too much World War I, then you're like totally exceptional. Korea War, I guess. But you're on Vietnam War veterans are at that age now, soon to be passed up, and when we give them to Iraq, there's a storm. So it's fleeting.
Would anybody like to make a motion that we,
I would move that we try to assign a staff person and come up with some ideas to be brought back to us to create a ID veterans.
Are we looking for a motion for the?
Yeah, we wanna get this in place.
Yeah.
And so we want to adopt this.
Yes.
So we want to also move that we accept this and we would direct staff to make placements.
Yes.
so it's a two-part motion, a motion to pass that we will take military ID and have a staff person design our own ID, and a second on that?
Second.
Okay, Paul seconds that. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Yeah, can we do a roll call, sorry? We're supposed to do roll call.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Busman,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes?
Commissioner Nino. I'm sorry. Change the format. Commissioner Lewicki, how about that?
Aye.
Commissioner Legria.
Aye.
Commissioner Withers.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Romero.
Excuse.
Excuse, thank you very much.
All right, that passes. Correspondence, number 11, and we have a nice thank you note from Rebecca.
Yes, I was really appreciative of the beautiful hanging basket that I received while I was still hobbling around. And after my hip surgery, but it was very sweet of everybody to do that, so thank you.
We're glad to have you back.
Yes.
On the sidebar, you look much improved.
That's right.
Very much improved.
All right, we're moving right on to number 12, Executive Director report.
All right. So in managing resources, all STIF 5310, 5311 reimbursements that Kelly has talked about have been submitted to ODOT. We're just waiting to receive those. I anticipate those by the end of this month or early next month. We will begin the RFP process for the procurement of the 4 paratransit vehicles next month, and the estimated delivery is 9 to 12 months out. Leading people, we had a great staff meeting last week. Pam, thank you for coming to one of the meetings, and Tracy, thank you for coming to the other meetings. It was a good meeting. We were able to give staff an update as to where we were as a district, kind of a state of the district. That we were okay financially, that we're moving forward, headed in the right direction. It was a really good meeting. We also had a Mexican food there in celebration of Cinco de Mayo. So it was a good event. You're all invited to come to our next one, which will probably be next month. So I encourage you to show up. Also like to congratulate Alex, our new lead mechanic. He was promoted into that position that the board approved last month. We're very lucky to have him on board, and hopefully he'll stay a very long time. All right, improving the organization. The roof here has been cleaned. It appears to be sound. We haven't seen any need for immediate repairs as of right now. So we're gonna see how that goes.
It's been a wet winter.
Right.
What stage you get back to next winter?
Unfortunately, the Warrenton roof does not look that fortunate. It's got some significant issues that will have to be addressed in this new budget cycle. ODOT, I talked about this earlier, has forwarded our amended STIF plan to PTAC for review. I don't anticipate any problems there. So we'll be looking for those additional funds going into the next fiscal cycle. Service delivery and operations. This is really good news. Ridership continues to show increases. We saw another 10% increase last month. We're up 32% since December. Route 15 has restarted. And yeah, can you go to the next slide, Jason? This is the first day that we all rode out on Route 15. I feel sorry for that first passenger that came on board.
He was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed.
He was overwhelmed.
I wanna know why Rebecca doesn't have that fluorescent vest thing on.
I know.
But he was a good sport about the whole situation. And I think the thing that was encouraging is, you know, we had just put out the schedule, and this guy had it all figured out already.
Okay.
Yeah, he was set to go.
Yeah. All right, next slide, Jason. All right, here's our total fixed route ridership by month. You can see we had a nice increase there. We went to 7,200 in April. Just continues to climb. Next slide. Paratransit, 810. We're not seeing as much of an increase, but that's still the biggest month we've had since the shutdown.
Well,
And then
we have a chance to talk about paratransit when Jason.
Yeah.
I was curious about growth.
Route 101 is our big monster route, obviously, and we saw a nice increase there, 33 to 3,800. Route 10 in Astoria increased 1,300 to almost 1,500. Route 20 Cannon Beach, this one is just going wild. If you look back in January, we had 475 riders for the month. In April, we did over 1,000. So we've more than doubled that route. Definitely seeing significant increases there.
I have a question. Is part of this from increasing the loops also?
No,
That doesn't doesn't have a bearing. So what do you attribute? Just that more people are realizing that we're back?
I think people are adjusting to our schedule. There's some people that are, they'll adjust once the schedule's been in place. They see we're reliable and start coming back to us. But it does, some of them adjust to what we've scheduled.
Okay.
And the interconnection between the 101 and the 20 was timed very well in there, so you're not spending time sitting on a bench.
Right.
I think also I've noticed more tourists are taking the bus up since that. When you live in Canada.
From Kennedy.
Yeah, you kind of tell. I think more tourists are taking the bus up, which could only help, right? This numbers here are all seasonally adjusted or just the actuals.
They're the actual raw numbers.
So we'll get to see how this continues.
Right.
Continues.
Yeah. Now, this is the Pacific Connector, and I saw this, and what's going on there? Well, in March, we had 8 days of service, 4 different weekends. In April, we had 10 days in March. We only had 8 days in April. That's why there's an adjustment there that needs to occur. So if we had the 10 full days, we would have had more. It would have went up to about 10%. So.
It's dependent on weekends.
Yes. All right, that's about all I got. Any questions?
What is at the luncheon? There is discussion among employees of problems with unruly people. And I was wondering how that's being addressed in terms of, coming into the office and on the bus, if there's something that gets out of hand, how are the employees protected?
There has been an increase in incident. It seemed like once a week we have an incident here at the TC where we have to call the police. And most of them would be attributed to mental conditions, mental health crises. But once it reaches that point, it's not like we can call up behavioral health and say, hey, come help us here. When someone's life has been threatened, at that point we have to call. Yeah. Now, if there's an incident out on the bus, the drivers are to call their supervisor and get direction from the supervisor as to how to proceed. Obviously, if there's an incident that requires police to be called, then the supervisor would call police.
Thank you.
Is there ever a time when a bus driver would think it more intimate to call the police right away instead of going through, like if there's a hand fight on the bus between 2
Yes.
passengers, wouldn't it be better to call the police directly?
I mean, if it's obvious, something like that, definitely.
Just allow an unruly passenger. They try to get him to his stop, or they try to get him to leave the bus. What happens? Or just allow.
It just depends. It just depends on the given situation. Some people are really amenable if you tell them, hey, you can't play your radio on the bus.
Yeah.
Others have mental issues that, don't want to receive any kind of direction. Our drivers are, driving is only part of the job. I mean, they're counselors, they're coaches, life coaches. I mean, they wear many different hats. I'm sure Tracy's a frequent flyer. You get to see that day in and day out.
And they counsel. There's some counseling going on. People sometimes, mental condition means they forget to get off the bus when it's their turn to get off the bus and at their stop. And so drivers make note of where their frequent flyer customers are, and they will remind the driver or remind the client.
This is your stop, right?
Yeah, that's nice, courtesy.
Yeah, the bus, stop, okay. Yeah, so, and they are, the bus driver that is his or her vehicle. And they are in charge of what happens on that vehicle.
Yeah, I always used to like to say they're the captain of their ship.
Yes, correct.
Which is appropriate.
Yeah, that's good, it's good that they're given that, status. I was gonna say that on that, maiden voyage on the return of the 15, you know, we had, Steve, our driver, said hello to someone that was at a stop. He didn't get on. He, I guess, had been restricted from the bus, lost the privilege. But I appreciated the way Steve handled it, you know, it was, hi, how are you doing? So-and-so, and it was congenial, so.
Kudos.
Sounds like, you know, he has a relationship with that.
Yeah. Most drivers that are confrontational with people don't last very long in this industry.
Okay. Anything else for Craig? Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay. Is Jennifer on? Nope, no Jennifer today? Okay, Sue, your turn.
Good morning, do you have any questions about the report that I was, you have in your packet?
So you just have one more that I know of that, but driver that hasn't been able to return yet?
Yeah, I made note of that, I'm not sure who that is.
I can tell you afterwards,
Yeah.
because he's just chomping at the bit. I told him to, check in with Jennifer,
Okay,
just to make sure she knows that he wants to come back and,
yeah, so we'll chat, because, yeah, I'm not
Okay.
aware of who that could be.
yeah,
Yeah, no, happy to hear about
Okay.
anybody who's wanting to come back. Yeah, Charles?
I know we won't have as many folks as we had pre-crisis, but where are we as far as the number of currently employed now and pre-crisis?
We have 25,
And we did have
46.
46. But
Yes.
obviously that's a few rounds and such.
Right.
A lot of those folks have moved on.
Yes, and I've been in, especially with the 15 opening up, I've been in contact with everyone throughout this whole entire year. And that's why with Debbie, I'm just kind of surprised, I wonder who that is. Because, yeah, I've talked to everyone, and those who wanted to come back are, you know, really noted, and we didn't get, we're kind of down to our most recent hires, but anyway, before we went, before we shut down, people who had been most recently hired. But anyway, yeah. So, and when the budget passes, if it passes, if we get 5 more people, that would be amazing. And
When?
so, when it passes, anyway, so we'll be putting out whoever, I'll be putting out a posting, for new positions, including bus drivers, to see what kind of, response we get. Who's out there, who wants to come work for us, which they'd be so lucky. Great place to work.
Yes, it is.
any other questions for Sue? Thank you, we'll talk afterwards. Okay, Mary.
Very.
Well, it's kind of busy.
No kidding.
Really?
Every day.
And I can't wait till the end of this month, because it's quite now a little bit. But I'm gonna bring up this something that we talked about, in the past, we sometimes have skipped the August meeting, so if that's an idea that we can talk about, or it makes it kind of nice. Oh yes, we've skipped the August meeting many years in a row, and it makes it kind of nice just to have 1 month where for everybody, if there's nothing going on.
And it seems like things have started to settle down.
Yeah.
You know, financially, everything's stable. So if you guys would like to do that, that option's available for you. Maybe you can schedule a vacation. You guys' commitment has been just off the charts for the last year, and so maybe you'd like to do that.
And like Sue said, once the budget's passed and we're on to the new, we'll have a meeting in July, you know, on the plot. You appoint all the committees and things like that, and other committee members, and kind of get organized for the next year. So, just a thought, just a thought.
Mary, I was gonna say that, if that can be an option, because if we have need for a
Sure.
meeting, you know, that we would need to convene one. So,
I'm just mentioning it, if, it's not mine to call, I'm just mentioning it.
Charles?
I won't be here for the August meeting, so I have, I'll be traveling.
There's a vote for one right there.
I'll be traveling last 2 weeks of the month.
You can zoom in. I think a lot of it depends on how busy we are and if things keep nice and settled like they have, because this is gonna be a short meeting today. I mean, we've covered some good things, but it is gonna be shorter. Tracy?
So, along that note, skipping August, could we, or is there something we can do like the early part of September? And
Merge September, August and September together like we do November, December?
What would that buy us, Tracy?
Yeah,
we would still, well, that's true. We don't have a lot of activity, do we?
If you forgive me here, I think the whole purpose
Yeah.
is to have that month off because there aren't a lot of hot issues right now. And as Debbie said, if something comes up, then we'll go ahead and call the meeting in August. My personal feeling is if we're gonna skip it, we should skip it. And
Okay.
September ought to stay the way it is, unless business dictates something different.
And me and Debbie talk at least every week, at a minimum every week, so I mean, we can keep an eye on it.
Oh, yes, we talk every week.
Okay.
So, I should, and I want to inject something, just, because I have been, everybody knows I own the store across the street, and this last couple of months, I've been there a lot because I've got people on vacation, so I've been filling in shifts. You know how nice it is to see all these buses go by all the time?
okay.
It's really comforting. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to mention that, because it is. I really like to see that. Thank you, Mary. Jason?
Yeah, I've just been pretty busy myself as well. Just really trying to connect with as many people as I possibly can. Try to help encourage individuals to ride the bus, be safe while doing so, with this stuff. I did get a chance to connect with several students as I went to Warrenton High School, it's a family resource night. And we're actually planning a much larger trip, kind of an into-school trip where we're going to take parents and the students of this class on a trip. And a lot of travel training will be had. Hopefully a lot of high-vis stuff will be out in Warren. One of those kids, it was pretty neat, was just really loving our high-vis bag that we had. Nobody's ever loved these bags as much as this kid did. And he wore it around everywhere for the rest of that night. And I've been told by some friends who know the family, that's the bag he uses, and I'm like, right on. So let's see here. I just was only able to really do some serious travel training with a couple of individuals, and I think one was a great success, and the other one still process. So we're still working with that. So I think that's really where I'm at, unless you guys have any questions. Other than one last thing, one more thing, is the grant that I did apply to, thanks for Greg and providing that opportunity for me to apply for the college level intern. We won the grant, and Sue has very graciously gone through and put out the posting, and it's out, and hopefully we've received thousands of applications that I can go through.
And we got the check in the mail.
And we got the check in the mail, so we're on our way.
Great job, Jason.
Thank you. No, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really cool thing to report back to you on how that's going to look like. So maybe we'll even bring him here her here to check it out and talk to you all.
What will the internship entail?
What will it entail? It basically doing a lot of outreach type stuff, a lot of travel training. We've got a lot of projects that we probably could be working on where we need more assistance in that. I feel like I have a pretty organized program that I have, but it's always nice to have another person with hopefully this level of commitment and understanding, organize the project a little better, the program, and hopefully I can learn a lot through that as well too. So, yeah.
I was hired as a mobility assistant. My first job here was a mobility assistant, so that's
Yeah.
what they're going to do, be an assistant, so.
Yeah, hopefully this will lead into, to develop
Like 10
the
years
assistant program.
Like 10 years.
2010.
Yeah. So yeah, so hopefully this will be a really, really positive movement forward for the district. I'm looking forward to it.
And did you have some questions for Jason?
Yeah, on the ridership, I think it was paratransit, I was gonna ask about paratransit gains and non-gains on the ridership. Oh, good, okay. Now your growth appears to be, well, you appear to have leveled off. There seems to be a certain level of level off. Is that what happens in paratransit? It levels off at a number, or is that?
I have to be honest with you, I think the best person to answer that question, I mean, I could probably tell you some things, but Nicole, if she's on, it would be probably best for her to answer that with that particular group of ridership.
And piggyback that, we have some regular paratransit.
Absolutely.
We're seeing those people, they show up, back up, we're seeing them regularly.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some riders who will not need service for a little bit, but you think a lot of the medical side of things too, as well, people who are not in the Medicaid world will use us for medical trips, and that's where you see a lot of fluctuation because some people have, diabetic type issues and stuff, so they're very. And Nicole's here. Oh yeah. Okay, good. Nicole, are you there? Can you talk to Charles about this? Or are you just in chat? She would like the question repeated. Nicole, so we can maybe get the question repeated. And are you there? Unmuted. You need to be unmuted. Okay. Okay. Maybe I can hear. You should be able to unmute yourself now.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, try that.
I got it. Can you hear
Are you
me?
there?
Yep.
Okay, we can hear you.
Good morning. So yeah, if I can get the question repeated, that'd be great. I was in the middle of something.
She would like the question repeated if possible.
I guess I was trying to figure out, has the ridership on paratransit leveled off? Are we seeing repeat customers who we were seeing regularly no longer riding? Or is that kind of a number we can expect to be like some? Seems to be around 750, 775 is the average.
Yeah, so it's very consistent. We still have a lot of our same riders. Some ride every single day, some ride just on certain days of the week. We have had an increase in new applications, so an increase of just new riders in general. I expect that our numbers are going to continue to increase through the summer. As the weather warms up and becomes nicer, we'll have more ridership.
Thank you. I've noticed the number seems to have plateaued, and I was just wondering. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Just as a frame of reference, before the collapse, a good month for paratransit was 1,000 rides. So, you're very close to that already, and as Nicole says, the summer's going to be busier. So I would expect you to hit
Well,
additional levels.
I will also say that after we came back from the shutdown, we stopped taking Northwest riders because we didn't have the drivers, so we didn't have the availability to do that. So I think, and I was gonna talk with Craig and Jennifer on this, but I think we're in a position to start bringing Northwest rides back, start providing transportation for them. And our numbers will significantly increase when that happens.
Thank you. So it's Northwest Riders as well.
The Medicaid, yeah.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
I had one question and I keep forgetting about it until odd times, but we used to deliver food boxes. Are we going to be able to go back to doing that, or is that something that's not needed like it was? We started that during COVID.
I was gonna say,
And we did it after COVID until the shutdown. We were still delivering some.
So we did have a grant to be able to do that. There was additional funding for that, and we did a marvelous job at doing it. I, for one, just as an opinion, would be like, if we could bring it back somehow in some small way.
Something to keep on our list that maybe we can bring back in the future.
Is that akin to Meals on Wheels, so to speak, or we just?
It's very similar, yeah. But a lot of those people that were receiving food boxes back then now are back to writing again and getting to their, to where they could go get their groceries.
And our Route 15 goes by the food bank
right.
as well,
Mhm.
so they can get there and access it now. It's a big
Okay.
step.
Yeah, in our meeting in Seaside, an individual, commented about how it would be in competition with taxi services.
The, micro.
Or the micro transit, okay, so help me out here, how do people feel about that issue?
Considering the rates that taxi service in
Yeah.
Seaside produce,
But on a
I'm
PR
convinced
level,
to have that lower cost option.
our level of service would be, I believe, much better, and it'd be much
Yeah.
more economically viable for somebody.
and when there are, people, making a living with driving taxis and the taxi companies, I guess we just, both groups live in one world.
But we're kind of in terms of transportation, we're kind of like the 800-pound gorilla in the room. So we kind of take precedence in that situation.
Your point's well taken, because we don't want to compete with local outfits. But microtransit, correct me if I'm wrong, is just another name, maybe another iteration of demand response service, which is the type of bus service that is provided nationally, probably internationally. It's a type of public transportation. And it's been around forever and it's everywhere, so it's not going to be any different. Microtransit is almost a different way to market
Demand response, exactly.
I mean, we're doing demand response with paratransit, actually, and the cab companies aren't complaining about that. So this is not something that we're injecting into the economy as a new concept. We're just bringing it here because we haven't had it before.
There is some separateness to the type of services for taxi and our services. There's room for both.
Absolutely.
So if anybody, has any problem with that and brings that up again, that's our response. Thank you.
Thanks for.
Gee, you guys.
Is this for record?
Ran out of stuff to do.
Ding. Is this a record?
You could take a break, you can come back.
57 minutes.
Sure, that's for 1 hour, so that we just set a record.
This is a normal, this is what I'm used to for a board meeting. Well,
Took me 6 months to get here, but we're here.
Maybe the one we started at 10 instead of 9. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
If there is nothing else, and
Motion to
nobody
adjourn?
has any objections, we are adjourned at 9:58.
Wow.